So guys, I'm sort of in a bad mood because I haven't had my weekly dosage of David Salvatore, and it's starting to piss me off. I hate these freaking season. 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Ugh. So if you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm finished with my paper now, so I finally have time to make videos. And Mercedes tagged me in the How I Read tag. I'll leave a link to her channel below and also the original. Question number 1. How do you find out about new books to read? Mainly Goodreads, or browsing shelves, both online and in stores and libraries. I love just taking hours and just look through the shelves and pick up books that seems interesting, or just see if it's something for me. If I'm at the library and see something that just looks good, I'll just pick it up and leave with the book because it's free. Libraries are awesome. Love them. You can come across anything in there. Just browsing the shelves, see what they put up, or look at the shelf. We have this thing, they put up books that's newly been returned. I love looking at those shelves because it makes you sort of branch out of your comfort zone or the typical books you usually read and things like that. Just maybe find new authors and genres and subjects you didn't even know was out there. So yeah. Question number 2. How did you get into reading? I didn't read too much as a kid. I believe I remember being at a very small library as a child with my mother, but I didn't really pick up too many books. I read Calvin and Hobbes, I guess, and a few Swedish child books, whatever. And I don't remember getting home a lot of picture books or having my parents read to me, because I lived with my mom when I was a kid. And yeah, I remember in middle grade I started reading a series about this skater, a girl who wanted to learn how to skate, and I thought that was so much fun. And there was this love interest in there as well, and I never had a boyfriend growing up, so that was fun. And in junior high I started reading all these, I guess you'd call them romantic or new adultish Swedish romantic books about teenagers falling in love and things like that. I read a ton of those kind of books, and then I didn't read too much. And then a friend told me, you need to read Twilight. I think you will love that book. I read that book. It took me a week. I hated it, but I did pick up New Moon, and I love New Moon. I read it in one day. I picked up Eclipse the day after. Read it in one day. I also picked up Breaking Dawn. I read them all in English, and I picked up Eclipse and Breaking Dawn at the same time. And Breaking Dawn I didn't like at first. It took me a week to read that as well. And then I just started rereading them for over and over. So that's sort of how I started reading more than I did before. And then in 2010, I was 21, and I've been following a lot of bloggers, and I saw this blogger who made a monthly post with the books she read that month, and I was like, I want to do that. So I did that, and a friend of mine suggested a few books to me, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close and things like that, and I read a book about the runaways, and I just got stuck in reading. I loved putting up my posts on everything I read that month, and and since then I've been reading like crazy. So yeah, Wuthering Heights as well. Love that book. I don't care. People hate it. I love it. It actually made me want to read more books. I read it after Twilight. Um, I love it. I love Wuthering Heights. I know Mercedes hates it and everyone hates it. I think Colleen likes that book. I'm not sure. Question number 3. How has your taste in books changed as you've gotten older? So I don't really read series anymore. I don't read Twilight-ish books. I don't read too much romance novels. I like tragic and broody and dark shit, I guess. I like adult-ish books. I like more complex characters. I like thinking, books that make me think and that makes me feel very strongly. There's a few YA books that makes me feel like that as well, and children's books as well. But yeah, I'm into gothic stuff. A lot of classics. I've always been the kind of person who wants to read classic and wants to be cultural, I guess. I don't know. I like trying everything really. Question number 4. How often do you buy books? Too often than I probably should. Whenever I see something I want, I kind of get it if I feel like I can afford it. But I mainly buy secondhand books. I'm trying to not buy things as spontaneously anymore. I try to just think about more what I actually want to read and if I actually will read that book. And I usually, if I buy things online, I usually let the things lie in the cart for a few days and just think it through. Question number 5. How did you get into booktubing? So I started watching booktube this summer and I just decided one day to do a book haul. I just really like this community and I wanted to be a part of it, so I guess that's why I'm doing these videos. And I like talking to you guys. There's a bunch of great people out there. I never think I'd talk to people in Canada or whatever. I mean, it's fun. Question number 6. How do you react when you don't like the end of a book? I try to understand why the author made it that way, I guess. I guess I'm not too happy, but I really am the kind of person who wants to understand people, even if I don't agree with opinions or whatever. I try to understand where it's coming from, so I don't really. It doesn't bother me too much. Night Film disappointed me, but it's very personal. I think I might have built up too much for myself, and I totally respect her choice. And I think I'm starting to actually like the ending, even though I'm still kind of disappointed. Question number 7. How often have you taken a sneaky look at the back page of a book to see if it's a happy ending? I don't really read books with happy endings too much. I've never done that. It's just stupid. Why would you want to do that? You don't. You just ruin the read for yourself. Because most endings doesn't make sense anyway if you haven't read the whole book. Like North and South. The last sentence was hilarious, but if you haven't read the story, you'll not think it's hilarious. I mean, seriously, it's just ruining everything. The same with Animal Farm. The best ending, the best last sentence ever. But you have to read the book to really understand it. So no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to know in advance what happens. If I read something that's very thrilling and I usually put my hand over the text so I don't read ahead because I don't want to know. Yeah, it's ruining everything. I don't know. So question number 8 is how many people are you going to tag and who are they? I feel like everyone's been doing this lately, so I have no idea who's not done it. So if you want to, feel free. I'll leave the questions down below and post me your response. I guess I'd love to watch it. Thank you for watching. Click the thumbs up if you want and subscribe. I have a bunch of review videos coming up. I also have a small haul. Yeah.